Oh, good afternoon, folks. Chiefs are 6-4. That was ugly, and that's putting it in a nice way, to tell you the truth. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get down to the basics. Going to do the Q&A tomorrow night. We'll go through all the specifics. I will have rewatched by then, and I'll hopefully have a little bit more information for you at this point. I've just watched live pretty much like everyone. So welcome in, everyone. Hope that you're here. Tough loss. And I come back to everyone from Andy Reid on down to the guys that were inactive, LaShawn McCoy even. Everyone took their eye off the ball. Everyone deserves some credit for this loss. A lot of folks pointing fingers at who did what, the Winchester snap, Ward, Frank Clark not getting that interception. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Winchester's been solid forever. One bad play, you can't really make a judgment there. I choke Frank Clark up to being like Derek Johnson. He's going to drop some interceptions. Eventually, he'll get some. Hey, Casey K. Hey, Ian. A lot of familiar names joining in. Hope you guys that are new, welcome. This is going to be kind of my review of the game. Tomorrow night, we'll do a Q&A. You guys join, ask all your questions, and I'll just go through them one by one. But for tonight, everything all the way down to the way they took the field. In fact, before they took the field, the decision by the coaching staff to leave Pennell inactive when you know you're facing the biggest, maybe the toughest runner in the NFL on a team that has to make yards running the ball. That was a miscalculation. Maybe you were confident and felt that maybe Andy thought, hey, we're going to get out to a lead and they're going to have to throw the ball. We're going to play makeup, and I want to have guys that can rush the passer. Okay. Joey Ives is a guy that rushes the passer better than he defends the run. Pennell's a guy that defends the run better than he rushes the passer. Okay, so it's a choice. It's an A-B kind of thing. And I don't know if that is just arrogance in feeling that you were going to get off to that start. I don't know if it was just a simple miscalculation. Don't know if maybe there's some kind of lingering injury or some reason where Pennell's not 100%, and that's a legitimate point. We literally just finished recording the podcast. Locked On Chiefs will be out in a couple of hours, and Chris brought that point up. That was a very good point. There could be something going on with Pennell that we just don't know about. But outside of confirmation of that, that's just a poor decision to start the game when you know that the core of what the Titans do is run the ball with Derrick Henry. And they gave him almost double the carries today for a reason. They got away from him last week and they lost. He ran for 188 yards today. That's embarrassing. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm not going to go through all the questions today. Just want to get through the game. We'll do the questions tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Arrowhead time. So I see some questions coming in. If you're new here, we'll do that on Monday. Just got to kind of review the game so we can get it all out. So before you even took the field, you set yourself up for failure in terms of stopping the run. I thought for the most part, the linebackers played pretty solid. Couple of creases against the run. You can live with a couple of those. I thought Reggie played well. I thought Damian Wilson played well. Hitchens blew something on the goal line, and I'm not sure if that was the call or if that was him, but he was really hesitant, and he was looking for Henry to go over the top, which is not something that I recall seeing Derrick Henry do. So I don't know that it should have been something you should have been worried about. But clearly there was a wide gap that wasn't covered that Hitch should have been there for. To me, on first view, it was not what they really should be planning for. It was not covering each gaps. It was not playing aggressive. It was back to what we saw earlier in the year when Mahomes was here. Again, it was not what we've seen the last 3 games. Stevie Keys, I see your comment. I will say this. I don't think they went with my game plan enough. They did not run the ball enough. They did well on Jonnu Smith, I'll give you that, but they did not stack, and they did not defend Derrick Henry enough. By the way, Pale Ale from Boulevard for today. So cheers for all of you for being here. Nice to see you. Oh, Denny even made it. How are you, Denny? So, Stevie, I understand where you're coming from, but they needed to sell out for that plan. And, man, they just didn't do it. So you set yourself up for failure. You defended the run okay in times, but at the end of the day, you didn't have the horses to do it. A lot of people asking me why Ivy was on the field there late in the game. And that was because I think Colin Saunders was just winded. I don't think you could ask him to play the kind of snaps that needed to be played without Pennell in that rotation. That's what you needed him for. And Ivy just can't hold up against the run. That's not what he does. So it put them at a disadvantage. And then that puts your linebackers in jeopardy and so on and so forth. And quite frankly, there were too many times down the stretch, I think I even tweeted this at one point, where they stayed in nickel when clearly they were attacking with Henry. And there's no reason to think that Sorensen is anywhere close to be able to take that down. I think Sorensen played okay, especially against the tight end again. I thought he did a good job there. I don't know why you leave Neiman and Sorensen on the field. That was on Spags. That's my guess. I doubt Andy had any input into that. That's on Spags. And again, I just feel like they misplayed the whole game plan, thinking that they had to stop Ryan Tannehill in the passing offense more than they had to stop Derrick Henry. So that said, there's some clock management things. Again, can't be shocked that they didn't want to run the ball when they should have. I felt like they were getting better at running as the game went on. And I think they should have stuck to that. And it's a hard deal. I do understand that at one point there were 4 backups on the offensive line. Schwartz did come back in, so that knocked it down to 3. But that's a whole lot of guys that you're trying to get on the same page that aren't used to playing, that aren't used to performing like they have to in order to get this done. So it's just a difficult thing, and I can understand where they're coming from. It is what it is. End of the day, the staff has to be more aggressive than that. I feel like the staff set them up to be a little bit mellow. You saw the defense give up and come out soft. Even Frank Clark even said post-game that they came out soft. And that's a problem. And that, I think, is what is the bigger picture. We'll talk about the offensive specifics here in a little bit. But I think the bigger picture is that I felt like the whole team just had a letdown because they've been grinding. They've been trying to keep everything tight. They've been trying to play good defense, run the ball better, protect Matt more, and they were doing okay. And then they get Pat back, and they just kind of put their hands up and relax because they have such a playmaker in Pat Mahomes. That was a mistake. And that's the feeling that I got from the entire team, from wide receivers, somewhat from Sammy even. Definitely the defense. I didn't feel the intensity. I didn't feel like the scheme was aggressive enough. I didn't feel like Spags came to really attack them. I still feel like he was worried about getting hurt over the top off of play action or something, letting himself get too keyed up on Derrick Henry, which in the end is what bit you anyway. I just feel like there wasn't enough intensity from anybody. And it was kind of, hey, he's back. Let's sit back and see what he does. And that's why you lose. Because for as good as Patrick was, 446 and 3 touchdowns, he was inaccurate early in the game. Maybe the first quarter and a half. He was off. Just didn't have his timing, didn't have his accuracy. He recovered well in the second half, but it was not walk back in just like he was before the injury. That said, I'm very happy that he made it through the game. He looked like he moved great. So I don't see any lingering things that make me worry about his longevity. I think he's going to be just fine. And honestly, I felt like in the second half, he knocked the rust off and he was back to his thing. That pass to Hardman was incredible. With no base, with no contact. It was all arm. It was just awesome. Okay, pass catchers. Kelce was great. He looked intense. He looked ready to do it. He looked like almost 100% to me. And most of this season, I felt like he's a little bit below that, whether health-wise or something else. So that was really encouraging to see. Now, they went and took him away by doubles and some of the things they were doing late in the game. I got to look at the coverages in the All-22 again, but That was part of their plan. And you guys are bringing up a very good point that I didn't hit yet. This team, and this goes back to the team kind of just taking a breath to relax because, hey, Pat's back. We got this. And I think the sloppy play and the penalties are a direct result of that. Everybody just kind of taking a step back because, oh, we got the MVP back. He can cover all of our mistakes. We don't have to play as well as we played the last few weeks. And I agree with you guys. I think the penalties are a symptom of that really point out exactly what that came from. So, but beyond that, Sammy looked like a little lack of intensity. He looked like he was moving fine. Hill looked like he got a little shaken up. He had a drop, which is uncharacteristic for him. Clearly had his speed on display again, and that was great. Mecole Hardman, didn't see him getting open until that one play. And I'll give him this. He's making the most of his opportunities. And that play, he really showed that, yes, Tyreek's the fastest guy in the league, but he's really close. So Hooker is their safety is not by any means a poor athlete. So I thought that really showed something as well. And I have to say this. Demarcus Robinson, I know he had a drop early and it was kind of missing for a while. He made up for it on that last drive. The big play to move 18 yards, and then I think an even smarter play when he got out of bounds, got the yardage that they needed. Really, really good stuff from Demarcus Robinson. I felt like he was on today. Damian Williams, I felt, was up and down. I was pretty frustrated early. In fact, he's in my notes for this game a lot. And it's back and forth, up and down. At first, it was the fumble, and that's clearly a huge mistake. You have to be prepared to get hit. Teams are going to punch out the ball. This isn't new. This is the NFL. Everybody punches at the ball. You got to be able to take that. But following that, the next drive, I want to say it was, I'm not 100%, just looked timid, looked a little scared, was looking to avoid contact, got caught behind the line of scrimmage and just chose to step out of bounds rather than putting his head down and doing his job and gaining yards. That's what running backs are for. The step out of bounds stuff is for stars like Tryeek Hill that are undersized, small guys that are going to get hurt. You are a running back. Your job is to put your shoulder down and hit somebody, period. That's it. So I don't like to see that. That really infuriates me, especially for a guy who we've seen do that. I mean, he trucked Derwin James last year. There's no reason he can't. That's a will thing. That bugged me. And then he turned it around. In the second half, I felt like he came out and thought he started making better decisions in his cuts. I felt like he ran harder. And he was actually making pretty good gains down the stretch. So much so that I would have given the ball on that 3rd and 2. I think they could have gotten the first down. I think it was more likely than what they did. And I think despite the timeouts, I think you have to be prepared to eat clock better. And if that means bringing Sherm and Darrell back in, do that. If it means pitching it wide, do that. If it means a jet sweep, do that. But you don't, just because it's a critical play, have to throw the ball because you have Mahomes out there. I thought, again, going back, I think that the coaching staff got lulled into, well, Pat's back. We have to use him as much as possible. I think that was part of the problem. He threw 50 passes today. Teams generally don't win when you throw that much. It's just the story, especially for a game that you weren't ever behind by any more than like 3 points. So I felt like Darrell didn't get enough opportunity. Clearly, Sherman didn't. They made some good. I think he got one play at fullback, and they got like 6 yards out of it. So, hey, tell me I'm crazy. The LaShawn thing being inactive, they said it was scheduled. I think they would have announced that if it really were. I don't think that's true. I think that's covering something. I don't know what it is. It is what it is. Bell went out for a minute. I thought Yelder did okay when he came in. I'd like to see more Yelder. I'm actually looking for that because I think he has more upside than Bell does, although Bell is steadier, so I can see the trade-off there. Yeah. This offense was sloppy. Missed opportunities. As bad as I thought the defense lacked intensity, I thought the offense lacked execution. And that's why, again, I'm not going to blame one side or the other. This was a team loss because everybody screwed up. So that's something significant. Looks like Rankin's going to be out for the season. That didn't look good to me. Just on my initial thought, I think it's knee ligaments. We'll get the report. Schwartz came back in. He's going to be pretty sore. I don't know what that means long term. It doesn't seem like Fisher's ready to go. I hope that he is next week. They got to get something going because I don't know what they're doing. I got to look at Wiz. Wiz came in, I think, at left guard later in the game when all the injuries happened. I got to see how Wiz played. But this might be the opportunity to get him on the field. We will continue to look at that and just see what happens there. So let's flip over to the defense. Like I said, Javarius Ward, he's going to have better days. As high as everybody was last week, everybody seems very angry now in Chiefs Kingdom. You got to roll with the punches. There's a reason I keep telling you guys we need consistency before you can say he's a number 2 corner. He is at best a number 2 corner on his good days. On days that he's not able to play that well, he's a backup. But he will get there, and I feel like in general his trend is still on the upward track. So feel good about that. Breeland was a mess. I don't know what's going on with Bashaud Breeland the last few weeks. He doesn't seem like he's really in tune with what he's supposed to be doing. He nearly allowed that pass at the end. He looked like he was in position. He got his hand on it. Then the receiver got his hand on it. If that isn't A.J. Brown, who's a rookie, I think that is a reception, and that's just unfortunate. I think Spags make a calculated decision to bring Thornhill down into the box more, and I think that was a mistake. Leaving Lucas exposed at free. Lucas is not a free. If there's a backup that's going to play free, it should be Watts. We've seen that from his skill set. Lucas is better near the line of scrimmage. Lucas should be up doing what Matthew does and partially what Sorensen does. So I'm looking at your comments here, you guys. There's just so many. That's what we'll do the Q&A tomorrow. So I'll go through all of these. I don't mean to ignore you, especially if you're new to these post-game ones. I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just trying to get through the game with all my thoughts. Tomorrow we'll do the Q&A. So I think Spags made a mistake there. Thornhill's a free safety. Leave him at free safety. He's still a rookie. Just let him do one thing so he can get better at it. He's solid. One thing he didn't do is he got run over by Ryan Tannehill of all people. Ryan Tannehill, who outplayed Drew Brees 2-1 today and just ruined my fantasy day. But beyond that, Fenton made a nice play, a nice breakup, and then he got run over by Tannehill. Who knew Ryan Tannehill was going to go put his shoulder down and do what Damian Williams didn't want to do and truck guys? That was surprising. And unfortunate to see DBs get beat up like that. You'd think a defender, even if he's out, if he's down pounds or whatever in that matchup, he should be winning that. Excuse me. Yeah. Chris Jones, up and down, had some really great plays, had a couple of plays where I thought he got washed out. Noddy looks strong. Thought he played okay. I thought Ivy played good on passing downs. I thought Tano Passanio showed his penetration ability again. I thought he played fairly well, except got beat up in the run game. Everybody got beat up in the run game, and I don't think it was because they're incapable. I think it was because they weren't intense. They weren't set up. They weren't ready to make this play count over the game because in the back of their minds, they have Pat Mahomes back. They got to do more than that. What they've done the last few weeks has been building, and today it just looked like they didn't get off the bus. So, corners, Fenton, Lucas, mixed bag. I saw like one or two plays, but for the most part, I'm not big on Lucas to begin with, and he didn't change my mind. Linebackers, talked about Hitch. Pretty much got all the guys. Okay, so there's a review of the game. Some clock management, some special teams that went awry, uncharacteristically. A lot of things happened in this game. Every phase of the game lost. Every phase of the game, and nearly every player on this team did something to lose this game. It just looked like a complete lack of preparation and intensity to go to work. It's like they called in sick. They showed up, but they were not 100%. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how that gets fixed other than getting your butt kick's got to kick your pride in eventually. And this team is now in a fight to even get a bye, let alone a home field advantage. So the Baltimore Ravens are for real. They're going to keep pushing. So They have to continue to fight to try to get back to be a bye. Right now, they are going to be playing in the wild card weekend. And I don't know if that hurts or helps. It's going to depend on the health, and as every game does, I guess. That's probably a cop-out because every game depends on health. But elongating that by a year is difficult. A lot of good comments. I appreciate you guys making them. Blake Anthony, I happen to agree with you. Denny, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to have to look at the 22 before I know for certain, but I have a couple of ideas about what I'll be reviewing and who I'll be reviewing. I've got a ton of notes. It's going to be difficult to get through it all. I'm trying to make sure I didn't leave anything in particular out. Yeah. So that said, the sky has not fallen. They still have the lead in the AFC West, although not as much as they should. This game against the Chargers in Mexico City is going to be huge. They have to get that turned around. They have to go. Every phase of the game has to win this game as though they are the only ones that can win it. That's what it's got to be. That's where the mentality has to be. So I think Mahomes will be better and will be more solid next week. Hopefully everybody comes to play and they can put a line together that they can actually block. We don't know. If not, they're going to have to get a little bit more creative. So that said, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. See if there's anything that I missed or that didn't bring up anyway. And tomorrow night we'll have the Q&A, regular time, 7 p.m. Central, Arrowhead time. And I look forward to talking to you guys then. Don't take it too hard. Enjoy the rest of the games today. Thanks for watching this one. I'll check you next time.